This morning, Eliza and I had a little contretemps. I mentioned that we had no visiting cards. Of course not, she said. The idea of such a thing. Visiting cards are, I believe, in common use among ladies and gentlemen, I told her. Eliza thought there was no need, as we never call in anybody and nobody ever calls in us. I reminded her of her new friend, Miss Sakers. Is, Miss Sakers nobody? Eliza informed me that Miss Sakers is a lady and has never left a card here. I questioned Eliza further on this. Without the appropriate visiting card, I'm simply left to assume that Miss Sakers is a fit person to receive into our social circle. Eliza suggested she should write to Miss Sakers for her pedigree, or get a reference from 2 clergymen. I could run up to the police station and see if they know anything about her. Didn't think it was quite necessary to go that far. According to Eliza, if Miss Sakers can do without visiting cards, we can. Apparently, I would be much better following her example. I said, thank you. I have my own idea about correct manners. I do not need to take them from Miss Sakers. I think 50 of each sort of card would be sufficient. Eliza said that the result would be 100 cards wasted. Either you cannot count, I said, or you've yet to learn there are 3 sorts of card used by married people. They are the husband's card, the wife's card, and the card with both names on it. Eliza suggested I should organise a card for Herbert as well. She seems to think that he knows a lot more dogs than we know people. And at this point, I decided to remain absolutely silent. I've made humorous remarks myself before now. More than once. Silence is often the best rebuke. But it didn't stop her. Visiting cards are a waste of money, apparently. And that Eliza's mother would not approve of the expense matters not a jot to me. Eliza, I am leaving to collect the visiting cards. And no man's easier to live with than I am. But when the time comes to put my foot down, that is what I do. Ernest Bagnall, Esquire. The lettering's old English character. I suggested a little decoration in the corner here. An ivy leaf, perhaps, or a flourish under the name, but the printer was opposed. Said it would have been charged as an extra. Still, very gratifying to one's natural self-respect. Ernest Edward Bagnall, son and heir of Ernest Bagnall, Esquire. Eliza says we can still use them if we ever need them again. Pardon me, I said to her, but cards for social purposes should not be bent or frayed at the edges and can hardly ever be too clean. Oblige me by not doing that in the future. In point of fact, I found we have a use for our new visiting cards. Eliza told me that some people called Popworth have moved into Pleasant Pastures. The house is a little up from here. I realised at once that this must be young Popworth, who used to work at Smith, Smythe and Bagshaw, my office in the city. Popworth used to work in the bookkeeping department with me. I'd heard he was getting married this year, so I've instructed Eliza to call and leave cards tomorrow. Well, Eliza asked which sort and how many she should leave. I explained to her that without referring to a book, I couldn't tell exactly, as it was very much a matter of taste. So I suggested that she checked with the butcher as to how many people lived there. Then she could leave one of each sort for each person in the house. Yes, there should be no skimping. I await their response. I had noticed on my way home that the Popworth house was very large. Must have come into some money, I thought. Just now, on my return, I asked Eliza about the cards. She said she'd checked with the butcher. There was Popworth, his wife, 2 sisters, a German friend, and 11 children. That made 16 persons in all. She'd followed my rules, and that made 48 cards altogether that she had left. My dear Eliza, I said, I told you as plainly as possible. You should not have left 48 cards altogether. And then I realised I'd made a mistake. This Popworth could not be the Popworth from my office, but a complete stranger. If my Popworth only got married last year, he couldn't have 11 children already. So I said to Eliza that a house like ours could not call on a house like Pleasant Pastures without something to justify the visit. She said there was something to justify the visit. I said, what? She said the 48 cards she had just dropped through the letterbox. Why I ever listened to Eliza's suggestion that we got visiting cards, I will never know.
Do, do, do. 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 There's more tomorrow in A Public Scandal for Ernest at the earlier time of 5:40.